So, good evening. I can feel the flashes of the angels here. So, I'm going to try and recapture a magical moment from yesterday. What I find is that when I take something to a deeper level and I get it at a really much deeper level, I get an opportunity to practice that new learning almost instantly. And yeah, I had a moment to myself and I started really getting this concept at a whole new level. So I'm going to try and capture it again now. We are totally disconnected from ourselves. We deny ourselves constantly. We deny our wants and our desires. We try to be a certain thing. We disconnect from ourselves and then we decide on a way that we should be based on what we've been told we should be, what we've been told love is, what we've been told is nice and good and worthy. So from an outside source, we try and be a certain way. And if we're not that certain way, where we can feel guilty, we can feel wrong, we can get really confused about what we should do and shouldn't do because there's confliction and there's guilt. If we think we should do something, we don't do it. We don't think we're loving enough. We don't think we're this enough. We don't think we're... you get the concept. So we disconnect ourselves and we try and be a certain thing that we should be, and we seek God. We disconnect from ourselves and we seek connection. We seek God. We want connection. We disconnect from ourselves and then we seek connection. So I got this deeply that I am the only experience of God I know. I can only experience through this, through my being. And if it's true that I am God's source energy, then I am God's source energy. And if I disconnect from me, from my being, if I don't honor my being, then I'm disconnecting from God. So to come back to honoring me, to come back to having faith in this being, moment to moment, if I can trust my being moment to moment, I am trusting God working through me. How am I going to trust God working through me until I trust what's coming through me? So, to connect with God, I have to connect with me, my desires. I have to listen to myself. I have to honor myself. My desires, my emotions, my feelings, my wants, my subtle guidance, my natural intrinsic motivation is all God directing my being for the well-being of me and all involved. This is faith. If I can't trust myself and my being, what can I trust? I hand over my trust to an experience that is not me. So, faith is trusting my being, trusting what arises in the moment for my being, and being that. Allowing my being to be, and allowing, connecting with, and honoring my wants, my desires. And I was like, wow, God is always talking to me. I always know what feels good and what doesn't. I always have the answer if I allow myself to do what I want. If I trust that, if I trust me, I always have my answers. I always am connected. So I was like, wow, this whole thing of follow your bliss, it's the path to your destiny. If I had the deepest faith, I could just follow my bliss because that is God talking through me. And I was like, wow, joy. Connecting with our joy is connecting with God. Connecting with our joy is connecting with our direction to our purpose. Connecting with joy is our answer. So I was writing all of this. Here's where it gets interesting. No, there's another element. If I trust my being and do what I want to do, what I feel to do in each moment, I never have to worry about judgment. I don't have to judge another person because I'm not basing my decision on that person. I'm basing my decision on how I feel. And I don't know why I feel the way I feel in that scenario. All I know is that I have this feeling that I want to do something or not do something, and I trust that simply because I'm trusting God. I'm trusting this flow that's coming through me. So, for example, if a friend, I have an example. So a friend, a very close friend, had a difficult moment this year, and she phoned me very late at night. And she was desperate. She was really upset. And this is the first time I'd really done this. I was really tired. I didn't want to speak with her. And I had the thought of, but I have to speak to her. I love her. I want to support her. I want to be there for her. I wanted to know I'm always there for her. That's what was going on in my mind. But in my heart, I was thinking, I'm really tired. I want to sleep. I don't want to talk now. I've had a really busy day. I just want to go to bed. So in a courageous move, because I'm practicing this, I trusted that. And I wrote to her and said, I love you. I believe in you. I'm really tired. I'll talk to you tomorrow. If you need, I added this on, if you need to come up here and knock on my window and sleep here the night. But I'll speak to you tomorrow. And I went to bed and I felt good. And I woke up in the morning and she contacted me and she said that she'd had a massive breakdown and a massive breakthrough. And she doesn't believe that would have happened had I supported her and talked around. She had a massive breakthrough. So I've practiced this year and I've got these little examples of just trust you. So I don't have to judge anyone, right? I don't have to make a decision about, and I certainly don't have to judge myself. I don't have to go, I should do this for her. I should have been on the phone. I should have, a friend, someone who cared about her, someone that loved her, would get in the car and go straight down and support her all night, stay up all night. I mean, that's real love. That's real friendship. But that's not honouring our being. It's disconnection. So coming back to the being, honouring the being, trusting that the being knows, that the flow knows. Okay. So you can also never feel guilt. No one could ever make you feel guilty. What are you going to be guilty about? You're just trusting your being. You make decisions based on what feels good. And it doesn't mean that you won't ever work, because work feels good. Like, this is the trust, right? We think if we don't trust ourselves, we wouldn't get out of bed for a week, or we would never want to go to work again, or we would never. And again, I've practiced this where I told myself for this week, you honestly don't have to go to work this week. You can have a sickie every day if you want to this week. Just test out this theory. You can have that. And I thought for sure the first day I'd want the day off. I woke up and of course now I'm in freedom. And I went, oh my God, I want to go to work. I can feel that I'm going to go to work today. And the feeling was totally different. I connected with an intrinsic motivation to go. There was a reason I was going to work, and I didn't love that work. So I just knew I was going to go, and I didn't feel any resentment, as opposed to getting up thinking that I'm going because I think I should. I'm going on a few tangents here. So trusting our being. Joy. Focusing on our joy is the path to God. Joy is connection with God. So I was writing this on the internet, and I was writing, joy is the connection to God. And as I was writing that, I hear a tap at the door, and this woman's voice, hello, hello. And so I walk down, and there's a small woman at the door, and I already know there's something wrong. She seems a little bit drunk, maybe, or just out of it a bit. And my instant thing is, do I want to get involved here? But Christmas spirit, and then it hit me right. Okay, just practice. So I come up to this woman, and she says to me, "Hello, sweetheart. Your energy is amazing. Your energy is amazing. I can tell you're a beautiful soul." She said, I just need some help. She held my hand. She said, "My name is Joy." And I said, "Your name is Joy? I've just been writing about joy. I just finished a sentence on joy. And it was a sentence about how joy connects us to God." And then she went and she broke down and she said, "I've been asking for that. I've been asking for that. I've been asking for a sign of being connected to God. And I've so wanted to connect to God. And here you are saying this." She said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And she held me. And I was blown away. I was like, wow. And it was an amazing moment. And then she stepped back and she started to tell me a story about what was happening for her. And she'd been kicked out of a home. The story was that her mother and her had been kicked out of a home, and they were now homeless. And yeah, I was deeply in my joy as I spoke to her, and I said, right, because I had those feelings of, how much am I going to have to do here? Am I going to have to bring these people into my house? What, and then I dropped in, right, just stay present to God. What am I going to do here? What do I feel to do here? And what instantly came to me was, I want to give her $50. Nothing else. That's all that came to me. I invited her to sit down on the lounge on the front porch, and I offered her a drink, and she started to tell me about this. It sounded like a terrible story. And I found that I didn't want to listen. And I had the moments of judging myself, thinking I should listen, I should support this woman. Maybe I should help her find a house for the night. Maybe I should offer them here. But I practiced, what do I want to do here? Without the shoulds, without judgment on myself. And so I stopped her mid-story and I said, "Listen, how can I help you right now? Like, what can I do right now? Because I can't help you. I don't know about this Homes West stuff. I can't help you find a house tonight. How can I help right now?" And she mentioned that money. And I said, "Look, I feel to give you $50. That's what I'm feeling. Would that help you?" And she said, "Yes, of course, darling, it would help." She said, "I know it's pushing it, but we have found a place for tonight. If we had $80, my mum and I could go to this place." And because I was already practicing this feeling, connecting with God, I felt so strongly. I felt so okay. I felt so still in my joy. I was not connected. I cared, but my joy, I didn't have to drop into her world. Though I had compassion, of course. I allowed myself to stay in my joy. I didn't have to join her in the sorrow. I stayed in my joy and I trusted God. And I said to her, after she asked for the 80, I said, I feel to give you 50. I'm going to give you 50. So I went inside and I got the 50 and a couple of other little things, put in her bag. And I came out and gave her the 50. And I said, thank you. And she said, thank you. And I said, blessings. And it was absolutely beautiful. And we had a hug and it was beautiful. And she went on her way. And I felt amazing. I felt joyous. I didn't judge her. I didn't know what her story was. I didn't know whether, she could have been telling me a story to get $50, to go get more drunk. It didn't matter. That's none of my business. It's God's business. It's her business. That's not my business. I don't care. I didn't have to judge her. She may be in the depths of one of the worst scenarios of her life. It's not my responsibility. I don't have to change my life for that. Trust God. Not my business. God's business. It was the most incredible example, a miraculous, magical little journey for me, cementing the thing that I'd just learnt. I just looked at my thingy because I thought I haven't recorded any of this. Yeah. I stayed in my joy. I did what I felt to do. There was no guilt, no remorse, no judgment on me, no judgment on her. All is one. I did what I felt to do. And I trust that that's enough because that's all I felt to do. It's not my business whether it's enough or not. It's God's business. It's not anyone else's business to tell me whether it's enough or not. Maybe $50 is exactly the amount she needed. I don't know. Maybe if she had 80 and stayed in that place tonight, something terrible would have happened in that place. Maybe she'll have 50 and they'll sleep on the street, but they'll have a great meal and meet someone to help them. I don't know. I can't. Wow. What freedom to live and to see how things unfold when we just honour ourselves. Sometimes I will want to listen to my friend when she calls on the phone at midnight. I do. I have. I've wanted to. Sometimes I won't. It's not my business why. I just get to go on the journey of it. I get to honour myself and love myself. I decide based on how I feel because I trust my connection. And then as I trust my connection to God and magic unfolds like that moment, I get more and more connected. I get more and more connected to me, to God, to the magic, to the freedom, to trusting the unfolding of life. I get braver about being in the moment. If I can stay in the moment where I can honour myself, I never have to worry about another interaction with any human. I'm never going to do anything I don't want to do. And I have no idea where that would take me. But it keeps me in my joy. It keeps me connected and magic happens. I'm feeling like that's the end of the story. It's a long story.